Vicky.
I've lost the script. Hello, I'm Andrew.
You need a script to know your name. There you go. And I'm Paul.
I just did a legger because I thought the cat just got in the house.
You muted yourself. Darling, you muted yourself. No, you muted.
There we go.
Hello. Sorry. It did it on its own.
Yes.
Random technology thing. This is Paul, Andrew, and Vicky watch all of Hellraiser. And tonight we'll be watching the 1997 film Event Horizon. Yay!
Yes. It's not officially part of Hellraiser, but.
Let's move on.
For those who haven't seen this before, this is a bring your own copy watch-along party. Is there a better phrase for that?
Oh, well. If there is, we haven't come up with it in 3 series of this.
So if you just joined us, you've got about 20 minutes before the film starts to get your copy of Event Horizon set up and ready to hit play when we do the countdown. This is the 1 hour, 32-minute version that Paul's got on DVD. Not the 1 hour, 35 version that seems to be on all the streaming services. Oh, God.
Oh, really? Oh, great. Okay.
Or the 2 hour, 10-minute version.
Not the 2 hour, 10-minute version.
No, not after last time. No.
No, and I know why that's 2 hours, 10 minutes, and no, not that one. But before we start the film, you may well be asking yourself why we're not watching a film with Hellraiser in the title. So if you've been watching us over the series, you may recall that Vicky agreed to watch all of the Hellraisers on the one condition that we got to watch Event Horizon at the end. And we finally made it through them all.
Woo!
Yay!
I think it's been worth it because I like Event Horizon.
It's a fantastic film.
But over the series, you may have picked up on a point of contention as to whether Event Horizon can actually be considered a Hellraiser film. There's no doubt as it's a good film, but whether it can be considered a Hellraiser film.
Yes.
I think it can.
Well, obviously, otherwise this would go to hell.
And what do you think,
top,
Andy?
baby.
I think for the purposes of having a discussion, I'm saying not quite.
Okay. So tonight we're going to try and answer the question with a debate. After the debate, we'll watch the film and then we'll be asking those of you watching along with us to decide who was right. Have we got anyone watching? We do. We have 2 people in the audience.
Oh, hello, the comments section. Say hello. Let us know you're there. Or Twitch is lying to us again. Anyway, on with the snark.
Oh, well, I can't see anyone
Haven't said shit.
So we'll revisit that later.
Say hello to the comment section anyway. I can't see anyone there myself, but there we are.
Let's see what's... give me a second. If I go live onto my own streaming channel while streaming...
Yeah, you can talk to yourself. And then we can replay what you said back to you. There we go.
There you are.
That's me. Right, okay. That's definitely working. We just got 2 people who don't want to say shit. Anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
I understand fully. Onwards.
Yeah,
so, Paul, what have you been watching? It just says here what you've been watching over the last 2 weeks, but we all know it's been 3 weeks because just shit got in the way, man.
Yes, because I was actually up in Scotland last week, so couldn't make this one. So over the last 3 weeks, I've been watching the X-Men films, all of them, and for reasons that I can't understand. I thought it was a good idea at the time, maybe.
I got 20 minutes into Dark Phoenix and couldn't handle it anymore. It was...
Yeah, it was on. Okay, so I'm going to say that much. Anyway, what have you been watching?
You made choices.
I made choices, yeah.
So I've been watching the Netflix series Anatomy of a Scandal, which I would highly recommend, except the ending was slightly weak, if I can be absolutely honest.
Couple of problems, but overall it was a very well acted series.
It was very well put together. It was I just thought it was great. And then I watched a documentary called The Most Hated Man on the Internet.
Oh my God.
Hunter.
That's the title.
I can't remember his name. Hunter something.
And what did he
Hunter
do?
Moore. Hunter Moore. Oh, he started the revenge porn website.
And that will do it.
Hey!
Hey!
Hey! I recognise that little name.
Yep.
Splendid. We have one person able to cast a vote. Yeah. Most person on the quite title. So
it looks great. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And what did you watch, Andrew?
I watched a lot of things, but I couldn't remember any of them. Obviously, because Essex Space Bid is so absolutely stuck in my mind. I know we watched something last Thursday on the film club. But what I did watch was I watched Obliterated, which Paul's going to be really careful about what he says now.
Yeah.
Because
I've finished watching that.
He's finished it. I know you enjoyed it. We've got kind of similar tastes, but I'm enjoying it because the entire concept is an elite operator team busts a Russian transporting nukes in Las Vegas, and then he's caught, and they celebrate, and they get absolutely mashed on a wide variety of substances and debauchery, and then they have to go back on up. So it's basically people with M16s and hangovers running around Las Vegas in a Huey, which sounds awful, but it's actually quite funny. It's quite divisive. I think it's
progressively
more
stupid. Yeah,
it is stupid. It is progressive. Yeah. There's a lot of equal opportunity naughty bits. The characters are quite nice and lovable, which I really like. And as someone who's watched an awful lot of action movies, I am loving the attention to detail of how much it is taking the piss out of action movies. I also have been curating this year's Trash or Treasure Christmas Apocalypse. I think this year it's called the Extravaganza. We have got the Amityville Christmas Vacation. We have got the Magic Tree, which is about a possessed Christmas tree that sings. The Magic Christmas Tree, sorry. We have 13 Slaves to Xmas, which is a slasher movie about Santa. And we have Santa Claus versus the Devil, which is a Mexican 60s kids movie, which means it's going to traumatize your dreams. That's all going to be over at the Discord. Look for Super Fortress Hardcore Genki Hall of Awesome, and that will get you to us on Facebook.
Stoned were these people when they thought of these movies?
They weren't. Most of these are completely done sober.
That's even more worrying.
If you're interested in Santa Claus in a slasher movie, you wouldn't go far wrong if you went to inspiration of Vicky's work calendar this year.
Oh my god!
What?
So Vicky has a work calendar with Santa Claus in December, and he's holding some equipment.
He's also got a beer belly. It's not a jolly belly; it's a beer belly.
It's like heavy industrial equipment, and it looks like he's just about to beg someone with it.
Yes, I approve.
And that's our official work calendar.
Lizzie, it's not that horrifying. No, it's absolutely not horrifying at all. It's railway humour.
So horrifying. Anyway,
from the very start of this series, we've had one burning question. And that is, can Event Horizon be considered part of Hellraiser? So tonight we'll be debating that very question, with Vicky taking the yes position and Andy taking the no position. Each of them will have about 5 minutes to argue their point, and then a couple of minutes for questions from the audience or from each other.
Yes. But we do desperately need the audience to hang around, otherwise Paul's going to have to decide it. And given that he's married to Vicky, I think I know how that one's going to end up.
Thank you.
Yeah. After that, we'll watch the film together. Everyone votes. It'll all be awesome.
And then, as I say, the audience will just have to see who they agree with at the end. And yeah,
I've invited as many of my mates along as possible, and none of them turned up. So you absolutely got your ringer on, and I happily accept stacking the deck for the vote as part of the democratic process. Cool.
At the end of the day, it's a friendly Andy, no matter which way it goes.
Oh god, yeah. So
right then,
Vicky gets to start.
Yes, Vicky will get to start. The winner of the debate
Okay.
will get to lord it over the loser. And for what will
Oh,
no
God.
doubt be the remainder of my life, the loser will get to try and get me to reassure them that, yes, I do secretly support their point of view.
Oh.
So, Vicky,
Right.
would you like to queue up your
See, there's
presentation?
no one. Okay, the One True Fan's not even here.
I know. I've pinged her.
Okay, right. So let's see. Share screen. You guys gonna have to forgive me because sharing is monitors.
Sharing is caring.
I know, but I just want to see which flipping screen.
Preferably the one with the
okay.
PowerPoint slides on.
Okay, can you? So I've clicked on a screen.
Yep.
Can you guys see that?
Nope.
No.
Of course not.
You need to
Flipping
share.
Share.
You need
Right,
to
there we go.
There we go.
Yes.
It's coming up. There we go.
Is that?
Stage.
Look,
Yes.
Can everyone see
there
that?
we are. Yay.
Yes, you can.
Awesome! Yay!
Right then.
Things working. Give me a second. I'll get my timer ready.
Get yourself
Okay.
ready. And then we'll give
Okay.
you 5. Are you good?
Right, and you ready? Steady.
Oh yeah.
Off you go.
Hello, everyone. Right, so we're going to be presenting the Yes Event Horizon should be considered part of the Hellraiser universe. First, we're going to start with the absolutely obvious. Legally, this is not a Hellraiser film. And because of that, you are not going to have the Pinhead and the other Cenobites. You are not going to have the box. And obviously, you are not going to have the Hellraiser title or it being in there at all. But let's just start with the actual concept of Event Horizon. We've already had documented that Paul Anderson has cited Hellraiser as a serious influence on this film and even had Clive Barker consult on it. So I think the question kind of works out as to if it's that similar, why didn't he just make a Hellraiser film? Well, for that, I've got some charts here. So Hellraiser in the box office going down to 1996 was rather low. Whereas if we looked at sort of Paul Anderson, he was pretty high. He was going places. So let's go to the next one. And then if we look at the budgets again, Hellraiser kind of leveled out but started to go, it wasn't particularly high, whereas Paul W. Anderson's budgets were significantly higher. So if we look at these, you kind of can see why perhaps Mr. Anderson didn't exactly want to have the Hellraiser brand, considering that the budgets and the box office weren't exactly high at the time. So let's just start with some of the clear similarities there. We have the lovely Pinhead, and then we have Weir. Not exactly got pins in there, but we have got very much similarities in the facial mutilations, as well as chains in Event Horizon, mirroring the chains from Dear Uncle Frank from the first and second films. And then we've also got the other ones which we've kind of shown, which is the configuration of the gravity drive, which Mr. Anderson has already said is sort of mirrored slightly in his imagery to the box. And then we also have general quotations. I have such wonderful things to show you, says Weir's wife, to we have such sights to show you from Pinhead. And then we've got these artistic imageries from each. I'm wondering if people can kind of guess. I think this one's pretty obvious. But if they can guess which is from which film.
Bottom right is, I think bottom right and bottom left is from Event, I think.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And you missed out this one.
Okay.
The top one as well. The themes. We all know that Hellraiser is all about, or at least it has been for quite a long time, the pleasures of the flesh. Snatched scenes from the Event Horizon Hell were very sexual and violent. Crews were performing self-mutilation and sexual acts which would make Pinhead extremely proud. A Cenobite creation actually happened. Weir was the perfect candidate to become a Cenobite, just like Pinhead was. And he was seduced just like he was as well. And I think his transformation came there. And also we're looking at imagery. Throughout Event Horizon, you had people who were seeing
dream states, memories, and you had that mirrored all the way through the films from Hellraiser. I can cite many different types. And then we also notice that the box mentally draws people in. It basically makes them solve the puzzle. Whereas the ship, that mentally attacks the people because it doesn't have a box. And then, again, I have to point out, who the hell cares if you don't open a box? We have seen countless examples throughout the whole of Hellraiser that you don't actually necessarily need to see the box to be attacked by the Cenobites that came out of it. It's going on to the next one. The running theme, the engineer is quite a significant one. And we have Weir, who's the designer of the Event Horizon ship. And then we have Hellraiser 4, the toy maker and the architect. Hellraiser 5, the engineer. And then Hellraiser 11, you've got the architect of the house that trapped the Cenobites. It's a running theme. It seems to be building on the mythos of Hellraiser in the fact that they generally have these architects that can build something that kind of mirrors the gateway to hell.
So if you'd like to wrap up now,
yeah, I will do very quickly. In space, there might not be a box. So just like space, you can't hear you scream. Space, there might not be a box. So the box opens it so the Cenobites can come in. However, the gateway opens it directly into hell to send you in there. And if we remember from Hellraiser Judgment, they actually had a bit of a debate. The Auditor and Pinhead said, what if we can use human technology to open a gateway to hell? Wouldn't that make things easier? So this could be an evolution of that. And thank you very much for your time. That's mine.
I can't believe you had to dig into Judgment to come up with Judgment.
I know,
that's
right?
deep. That is deep. I know that's like only 2 ago that we watched, but I can't remember dick from Judgment.
I had to pull whatever I could.
Oh my god. Hello.
Hey, we have the one fan. Hope you managed to catch that bit of the debate.
Oh, you missed my presentation.
Oh, don't worry, she's here for the good one.
Yeah.
So it now falls upon.
Hold on, very quickly. Do we have any questions from the audience on Vicky's presentation?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's your opportunity if you've got any questions to ask. Or Andy, do you have any questions to ask Vicky about her presentation?
I have 2 questions to ask, but I will wait for the audience to get first shot because I think.
No, you get one in now. Give them time to type.
Do we know in what capacity that Clive Barker was consulted?
We do know that he was, we don't know the extent, but we definitely do know that he has been cited many times as a consultant by the director of Event Horizon.
Right, because at the time he was engaged in a fair bit of consultancy as well, because he was making his own films outside the Hellraiser universe. So do we know if he was specifically consulted because of Hellraiser or because of his cinematic contributions to generalized horror, like Lords of Chaos and Lords of Illusion?
Well, we do know that Mr. Anderson has said Hellraiser was a significant influence regarding this film.
Happily accepted.
And in the same conversation has said, and I have consulted Clive Barker.
So it's implied.
No, they
it's implied,
can't, but he cannot, for legal reasons, say, oh, by the way, I sneakily made a Hellraiser.
Oh no! I'm not. No, I'm not asking on that. I'm asking, do we know why Mr. Barker was brought into it? I'm not going to argue a lookalikey.
Right then,
I know why it can't be.
So the question from the audience: what did I miss?
You missed my presentation.
You want to send her the file?
Yes, Tiger Chili's not been well this afternoon, so sorry to hear that.
Oh, bless you. I'm so sorry.
If Vicky would like to quickly recap her points, her 3 key points, I'll be more than happy to give her time to do that.
So very quick recap. There's imagery that's extremely similar. We're basically... You can't have the word Cenobite in this because it's not a Hellraiser film. Yeah. However, you get a lot of there's lots of pleasures of the flesh that's being used, lots of imagery. They used a lot of influence from there. Also, whereas the box, my theory, the box, it's not in space. The box brings the Cenobites out, whereas Weir has created basically a gateway that kind of went in and allowed people, the whole ship to go in. And just like most of the architect's things throughout the whole of Hellraiser, the ship has taken on sort of a personality of its own. Just like the box automatically tells people how to open it, the ship basically has a way of going, well, actually, I now
So
work
would it be correct to say your argument is that the warp drive they use in it is essentially Weir having created, for which of a better phrase, Lamont configuration?
Pretty much, yeah.
Fair enough. Cool.
So
Okay.
it opens when it's all in the same position,
When it's
and
configured.
and then it goes through.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not the box. The Cenobites can't come out, but what they can do is kind of get you in. And Weir clearly becomes one of them at the end. You can see him fall.
You say clearly, but I'm now going to hand over to Andy for a counterpoint. Right.
Specifically, my counterpoint that it is something else. Because I believe nothing exists within a vacuum. So, ready?
Yep, off you go.
3, 2, right. So, ladies and gentlemen, things that we can agree on this, very simply, headcanons are fun. I just want to establish this kind of discussion is super wicked awesome, and coming up with ideas outside of the box to do with what's the strict narrative, I think is great. Secondarily, finding connection between stories is fun. It's a long tradition of people trying to ship things into other things and spotting the narrative collections between all of them. The other thing I'd like to say is Hellraiser really is not a consistent series. So, whilst it is very easy to argue what Hellraiser is, because so much of Hellraiser, at least 60% of it, is other stories nailed into it. It's actually quite hard to define what it isn't, because it can be anything, because you can just get the rights and hammer it in, and away you go. So that's the first slide. Next one. There are obviously some incredibly obvious connections, a number of which Vicky has spotted. There is a sodding huge gateway, which is described as a gateway to hell. There is also a number of stylistic similarities. Gore, lighting, certain amount of jumpscapes and editing techniques. Knowing that Clive Barker was involved actually makes a lot of sense to me, because there's a lot of his tricks on display. And also, I would happily agree Dr. Weir is quite Cenobite-y. I would not suggest he's fully Cenobite, but I do acknowledge that he is quite Cenobite. And also, the film has been compared to Hellraiser since its release. So obviously there is that. However, reasons I would not consider it to be part of the Hellraiser series. It's not got huge amounts of eroticism. I do appreciate that in the hell sequence there is a certain amount of sexual assault and all that, but it is lacking eroticism specifically. What it does contain is a huge amount of vengeance, which is not something very common within the Hellraiser world. Hellraiser is more about exploration and people going too far, whereas the victims in this are basically punished by their own demons and as vengeance for things they have done in the past. Also, on a purely structural level, this is a haunted house story, not a cursed object story. Haunted house is about going into a location and being in the presence. That is a violation, whereas a cursed object is more of a thing that comes into your possession and which then for which of a better phrase, and to try and cut down time, haunts you. So the structure of it and the escape mechanism of it are different on structural levels. Also, on a very technical level, the ship goes to hell, and it's specifically described as hell, which Pinhead himself says he doesn't come from, as per Hellraiser 2. And with regards to Dr. Weir, he does not behave like a Cenobite. He looks like a Cenobite, but he is more there as a guide, as a commentator, and as a worshipper, rather than as an instigator or a doer of things. He's there going, this is because of all that, and doing a huge amount of plot dumps, and also having really cool special effects, and being acted by a genius. And also, personally, not enough hooks and chains for me to really count it as Hellraiser. There are some, but it's not like all over the place. So, my personal theory, if I'm saying it's not Hellraiser, what is it? Because there's definitely something going on here beyond the base structure. So, why Event Horizon is something else. Number one, the ship is incredibly gothic. It is a motif that was not very common within sci-fi at that time. They very purposely went for a highly stylized approach, which is best compared to the gothic architecture. It's specifically described as traveling through hyperspace into a dimension of pure chaos. It is not whilst the different dimensions in Hellraiser are not very well described, they're all ordered, structured, and they have a certain link to the classic Judeo-Christian levels of existence. Whereas in this, it's a scientific hyper-reality or a different reality. Secondly, the ship itself becomes possessed, becoming a character. The Le Mans configuration, whilst a key object, never has a personality. The ship absolutely becomes a character, absolutely gains a personality, and is often referred to as being a living thing. Also, people chant an awful lot of cod Latin. There is a lot of very badly translated Latin thrown around to try and sound really cool. And also, this is Philip Epson, the writer of the damn book, said, I played the shit out of Warhammer 40,000, so it was definitely an influence. Because I put it to you, the Event Horizon is a prequel movie to the Warhammer 40,000. This is based on all the reviews that happened at the time. Everyone I knew when we went to go and see it in the cinema coming out going, that's a Warhammer 40,000 movie. And the fact that the local Games Workshop organised a trip to watch it because all the staff thought it was an incredibly Warhammer 40,000 movie. So whilst I do see, my general conjecture is I do see some connections to the Hellraiser series. There are way more connections. It has been possessed. It has gone into hyperspace. It has been possessed by a chaos demon. This is Warhammer 40,000, the prequel.
Thank you very much for that. Right then. So we now have an opportunity for questions from the audience. Vicky, do you have any questions to start us off while the audience may be writing their questions?
So you've actually said that it was a haunted ship, not a cursed object, and then in your
I'm saying
couple of slides you said it was possessed.
The film.
I'm saying that the structure of the story would fall into the haunted house, not the cursed object.
But
the Hellraiser move
cursed object?
No, it's a house. It's a thing you're in. It's not a right. Haunted house stories are when you go to a location which you are warned about and you enter into a specific area, normally the house of the haunted house. You also get like haunted graveyard or whatever. And the whole thing is based around being in that location, having trespassed into that area, and then everyone trying to exit. Cursed objects is when an object comes into your possession and you are then not able to get rid of it. So one is you escape the haunted thing, in this case a building, stays that location and you leg it, whereas cursed object is a thing you cannot get rid of. You also have the fact that a lot of the stories in Hellraiser are about the ownership and control of the cursed object, which is normally within cursed object stories. Whereas in Event Horizon, it's about getting the hell out of there, which again is more frequent within the haunted house narrative structure.
So we've got a comment from Scarlet Tiger Chili. I've no Warhammer knowledge at all, so I have no point of reference to it now. Well, if you'd like us to bore the shit out of you sometime,
we could do an entire boring the shit out of it.
No, don't do it.
I'd just like to say, while there are scalpels in Event Horizon, there aren't enough plastic clippers to make it Warhammer.
No, it was noted whilst, because I went through. Yes, Jumanji would be classed as a cursed object film or a cursed object story because it is the board which is possessed. So like Amityville would obviously be haunted house because it's all about going in the area, and the way you break the curse is by legging it. You can't break the curse traditionally with a cursed object. Well, most often with cursed objects, the thing is bound to you, and you can't just throw it away to get rid of it.
Cool. Thank you very much for that. So we just got one final comment to put up there. So when Scarlet Tiger Chili first watched Event Horizon, it didn't make any sense. So we'll see after watching all the Hellraisers and seeing those two delightful presentations. Thank you both. If we are going to
presentation,
no.
What I would also say is that when the movie came out, there were a lot of connections made between both enterprises, the Hellraiser and the Warhammer 40,000. However, the Hellraiser, because that was a known quantity within the sci-fi community, that was extensively pushed onto the viewing public because they had no clue what the hell Warhammer 40,000 was. But if
I have to say though, we've watched a lot of films with just the word Hellraiser and 1 Cenobite tagged onto it. Whereas
I'm not saying I mentioned that at the start.
Most of that.
I mentioned that at the start, and I do happily accept it is quite Hellraisery.
I
just think it works better in that as the viewed as a different thing, and the writer wrote it as that. So,
right then, thank you both very much for that.
Yeah.
It's now time for us to get ready to watch Event Horizon. So here's what IMDb had to say about it. A rescue ship is tasked with investigating the mysterious reappearance of a spaceship that has been lost for 7 years.
Ooh.
Is
it me?
No, is it me? I'm getting ready to hit the damn buttons. Where are we? Vicky, are you excited about watching Event Horizon? Because I sure as hell.
Oh yeah, this is a good film.
We love this film.
Thank you, baby girl.
I am very biased. Good. We don't mind about the bias. Cool.
Right then. So, Vicky, do you want to do the countdown for us?
Yeah. So we'll start at 3, 2, 1, go. And the lovely bright Paramounts.
Oh, yes.
And I love the fact that Event Horizon is a very tight 90 minutes.
Depending on the version.
Well,
I love this start as well.
Brilliant
music.
This would be before you. This would be before you get the flan. This would be like the start of the OTT intro cards.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, dog. Perfect timing.
That is a wonderful pan in.
Mm.
I remember watching this at cinema.
It's here. Come get it.
Thin Morpheus. I mean,
this is just the most amazing film. Well acted, well scripted, and it has Sean Pertwee, who rocks.
Sean Pertwee is amazing. The other thing you got to remember is at the time, it was honestly discussed whether this was going to fail. It was like a horror movie, so it didn't do like huge numbers, but it did numbers for the box office. It was honestly discussed whether it was going to fail because they didn't think the public was ready for a sci-fi horror film. And just the idea of crossing the two genres was seen as radical and exciting, which, I mean, the film is radical and exciting, but not for those reasons.
Scarlet Tiger Chili, you are absolutely right.
One of my favourite Sean Pertwee facts is the fact that he was over in the US and it was Halloween, and someone said, "You need to dress up because Halloween's a big thing over here." And he's like, "What do I dress up as?" So he dressed up as his dad as Doctor Who, and it was such a good costume.
It really was.
Yeah. This has got an absolute first-class cast in this film.
Oh yeah, well they were all cheap at the time. That's the thing. You look through the horror movie canon, you'll find a lot of really talented actors getting their breaks in it and doing some solid roles. I mean, this is what he basically. I mean, this led to him being in Dog Soldier, and Dog Soldier still is amazing. Just don't buy the Blu-ray.
Okay, what's wrong with the Blu-ray?
They lightened it up so you can see everything, and it's a low budget horror. Yeah. There's actual guides for where you need to lower it down. And this is definitely riffing off parts of 2001.
And it is a great ship design in the fact that they've got these two segmented parts of it.
It is just that the ship itself is it's so creepy.
Yeah.
It's that menacing bird of prey shape to it.
Oh, that looks ropey.
Yeah, it does now, doesn't it?
I can I can remember this looking brilliant when I saw it in the cinema.
Oh, it's an old film now.
It was
Yeah,
97,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Hey, look, cross.
Something that also appears extensively in
Everything.
Warhammer.
I really don't think you're right.
This would have been
Warhammer has mechs and stuff in it. I don't see mechs in this film.
No, it's a prequel. This
So
was
we're
after
looking
he
at
did
Broken
Jurassic
Emotional
Park,
Man. That looks familiar. Hello. Wasn't let's see, Pinhead slightly emotionally broken as well?
No,
Just
no,
an idea.
he was drastically emotionally scarred because he'd gone through World War One.
He's
This was after
emotionally
he'd
scarred.
done Jurassic.
His wife's committed
This was
suicide.
after he'd done Jurassic Park, right?
This was after, yes.
Yeah.
We are after Lizzie. We are at the point
4.5 minutes in.
where we're in the bathroom. 4.32 seconds.
Yeah, there's a
in.
little timer on screen that you can see. So yeah, we're now at 4 minutes.
He's
I've got
shaving
that.
at the minute. Oh, with a really, I don't like those razors. I keep thinking someone's
Does
gonna.
look young, yeah.
He does,
Yeah.
but he's always had. And I just realized this
So
would
he
also be
dreams as
around.
well, isn't
this
he?
would-
He's dreaming about the ship calling him.
This would be around the calling him. You mean like psychically summoning him through the void? Like
I'm just,
the
I
warp
know.
does.
I'm just saying that the
this
architect and engineer knows his creation
if
there.
you haven't had a chance, the other really good horror he's in is In the Mouth of Madness, the John Carpenter movie.
Oh, okay.
He is superb in that.
Is that a
I think
Lovecraft
I've
based
seen
story?
that. I would love for them to.
It's very Lovecraftian.
It is because it's a Lovecraft film, essentially.
No, but
very
it's not
similar
written by
title to The
Lovecraft.
Mountain of Madness. No, but Mountains of Madness. It's very
Oh
similar.
yeah,
to that kind of
yeah.
thing.
Oh no, it's absolutely riffing on. It's absolutely riffing on the Lovecraft ideas. It's Lovecraftian. It's not a Lovecraft. He's not copying off a Lovecraft or adapting a Lovecraft story. But oh my god,
There he
it's
is,
so good.
Sean.
Now that is a face that had two options: acting or squaddy.
Yeah. He acted as a squaddy quite a lot.
He actually makes the Prophecy 4 and 5 just about watchable. And that is a lot of work. Hang on, wasn't she in Jurassic Park as well?
No.
Yeah. No, actually she wasn't, but she did star in The Tudors, also Lady Chatterley, and
Yeah, she
several
did a lot
other
of period
films.
dramas before this.
101 Dalmatians she
You
starred
do
in.
get why I thought
Oh yeah, I get
Yeah,
why.
I get it.
it's Thin Morpheus. That is an utterly ridiculous chair.
That chair makes it
It's
look
only for coolness. That chair is just for coolness.
Hey, I approve. They have taken so much off Alien for this.
Mm. Yeah, they all look so young.
Yeah.
Yes, when you realise that this film is what now, 25 years old?
Why are they smoking in space? No smoking in space.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any flammables thanks to what happened to Apollo 1.
Oh, they're having a joint before they go into hypersleep. Okay. I'm sure being absolutely hammered would do nothing.
Well, there's your answer. He's smoking in space because he's a doctor.
Right. I wonder if that's plot bomb. Should we be taking notes? Oh, look, having to go into hypersleep as described in Warhammer 40,000 as the first steps in space exploration until they started traveling through the warp.
It's like they haven't used that sort of thing in many sci-fi films.
They've used chains
Don't
in many
want to
sci-fi films, and
completely
you're
break
claiming
the
that
laws
it
of
invented
physics.
it. Oh, laws of physics, laws of schmizics.
Yeah, well,
Everyone knows
see,
the rule of cool applies to sci-fi.
I'm not being funny, but Blake 7 used capsules just like that long before aliens even showed up on the scene, my dear. And they looked very similar to that.
What, like the world's most threatening PE lesson?
Yeah.
I wonder if he loves every day in the corn.
Yeah.
In the core. I wonder
He
if
has got a
every meal
really-
is a banquet and every formation is a parade.
Yes.
He's a very fit-looking man.
Does anyone here have strong opinions on cornbread?
No.
No.
He's still doing all right for himself. I mean, you say he's young here, but let's face it, he's not actually. He's seasoned well.
Oh, you know about Blake 7? Yes, it's a brilliant, brilliant series.
See, Paul,
100%.
remember that
Really
discussion
strong
we were
women.
having?
I was just going to answer the question of how old he was because
Hey, it's Zero G Football from Red Dwarf. Yay. Awesome. We're going to have to get together because Avon was an amazing character. One of the first anti-heroes ever. And I actually met the guy before, sadly, he passed away. And he was really lovely in real life.
Sadly, he was about 80.
Yeah, but I actually cried when he died because he's such a lovely guy.
Mm.
He'd lost both his legs.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be piloting that thing nude.
he was 50 when this film came out.
Wow. Yes, she was. Servalan rules.
Yeah, we met her as well.
So he was 50. Sam Neill.
Yeah, Sam Neill was 50.
Oh, wow.
Was it diabetes that got his legs? I don't think so. I think it was something else.
I don't remember. He told us.
Is it healthy having a system where the failsafe is to flood the compartment with fluid? Presumably including some excretions from the body? I'm just saying that's not healthy. There's got to be a better way of doing it. Oh God, the costumes in Blake 7.
Yeah. There was a fashion show of her outfits, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah. And she had the body to fill him.
She also had the short hair, which was quite the radical move at the time. And meant she was coded as lesbian. Move it, move it. Apon is not happy.
He is not Apon, for crying out loud.
He is absolutely, these scenes, he is absolutely channeling the spirit of Apon. Thankfully, he's not doing it at the lieutenant, because the lieutenant was shit. Five by five, did you say? Almost like they're in the pipe.
Are you trying to say that this is an Aliens film now?
I'm saying they have
Too
ripped a
late,
lot
dude.
of this off Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a single gun, however, here. Let's just point out that these guys are not armed.
Nor were the Marines until they got ready to drop. And what are the salvage rights? Oh.
He's honest.
Classic haunted house trope.
Mm. I mean, you got one of these films where someone comes up with something absolutely preposterous, and they're like, "No, we don't believe you,"
Yeah, so we're all going to go home now.
but we can't.
Can't bend it. I mean, some kind of warp technology. Using layman's terms so the audience doesn't sit there just going, "What the fuck?" You can tell their squad is just the raw quantities of pornography on every surface. This man has no respect for stroke mags. Ooh. His voice does not match his face. It's just, I can't describe it. Possibly because his ears look about 3 sizes too big. So to clarify, they made a ship that can travel through space-time, and then it disappeared, and they're surprised. Did they all just move to sit around at a different location looking cool?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a sound effect that you could encounter in the 1990s game UFO Enemy Unknown. It is, in fact, based on an elephant call.
So they're being terrorized by horny elephants. Before I say anything, what?
I was going to say, the captain who said that message clearly likes to speak Latin. He did it before he went into that dimension, so it wasn't any kind of a rip-off of Latin.
I assure you, it is really bad Latin.
Oh, I don't deny.
Now that has got a better beat to it. I like the first track, but that's got a little bit more groove. That chair is so wanky. I mean, it's cool as fuck, but
it's supposed to just look cool, dude. Come on.
Oh yeah, no, but it's the fact that all the other chairs are nailed to the floor and his is just floaty aroundy. You're telling me this is not ripped off of Aliens?
It's flipping Neptune. What do you expect?
a little chef, a nice place to drop the kids off. A solid
isn't
gravity well that
Futurama, you
grabs
know.
everything in. Oh no, Futurama would have had way more dick jokes by now. We've barely got away with that elephant gag.
Surely he should be strapped in though.
Yeah, but he's
That's
too
why he's
busy
got the
looking.
rocking chest, it doesn't need to be strapped.
Just swinging backwards and forwards. Lawrence Fishburne having the time of his life on his very own roller coaster. Oh God, that is dangerous. That is dangerous. The amount you're swinging around. Oh wow. I was going to say the other reason it's similar to the haunted house because you also get like the Mary Celeste and things like that. Whilst they are vehicles, they are the story. The narrative of those is very similar. Like Ghost Ship. That's what I saw recently.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
oh
Ghost
my
Ship, you
God,
were almost crashing into something you can't quite
yeah.
see.
Oh, you can see the film. You can see the impact that this movie had just on the amount of people that then went and ripped it off.
Mm.
So pretty. And oh man, yeah, as you said, absolutely Klingon Warbird.
Mm.
Oh look, completely unnecessary Roman numerals.
I love this bit. It's like,
And
what do we
extensive
find?
Gothic
Just go
arches.
grab something, you know, doesn't
Yeah.
matter what, crush the shit out of it and hold on.
Well, it's probably the fairest representation of how you do this.
Yeah, normally you've got this perfectly aligned docking system.
Oh yeah.
It's like, can you imagine two things in this world which have been built that are compatible with each other? No. What you'd actually do is you just go and grab whatever you could find.
Oh my God, that looks like a video game. Did he just say Stasis?
Yes,
She did say Stasis, didn't she?
she did.
The English speaking English lady said Stasis.
Yes.
Oh God. Okay.
Maybe she was trying to sound American.
Deck by deck, room by room, he wants a clean dispersion by the numbers. So this was what? When did Matrix come out?
99. So this was 2 years before
2
Matrix.
years before Matrix, Jesus. Seeing how far the special effects evolved in that time.
Well, Matrix was well ahead of everything else.
Oh yeah, but not just like you think about the spoon bend,
Mm.
and then you
She'll say aluminum.
God damn. You think about the spoon bend, and you compare that to the watch that looked like it had just come out of Nightmare.
Yeah.
And just the ridiculous career that Fishburne had. Oh. Funk. I mean, that I will grant that is pure Hellraiser over engineering.
Did they release this in 3D? I don't think they did they?
No, 3D wasn't around.
No, they didn't.
The latest wave of 3D kicked off with Avatar, which was I believe, the 5th time 3D had been tried.
I've got to admit that Central Corridor must be a great place to do a run in the mornings.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. If it wasn't for the possession by the horrific entity, it would be a lovely place. It says warning explosive device, you dumb bastard. Say again?
No, it's not possessed by a horrific entity. Because all of the crew, I'm not going to ruin it for watchers.
Okay.
An entity implies that something came out and Gribbly attacked them. That doesn't happen.
Opening scene, aliens. Oh God. See, this is what I love about the movie. They went, right, we're going to have zero gravity. And then someone else went, ooh, I got a great gag we can pull with it.
Yes.
Ooh. So the number of industrial tracks I've heard that have lifted samples from this.
I saw this in the cinema, and then the first time you see this, you're like, "Oh, Chekhov's meat grinder there." Then
I can remember. All I can remember was there was a ride at Universal Studios where you get driven through a tunnel with one of those things on it, and I can just remember feeling really discombobulated by it. Blood. Very old, very crusty, surprisingly red blood. Oh, look! Bioorganic contamination and chaos spiky bits! That was especially ropey. And I can remember being astounded by it. I think that's the thing people often forget is the effects of the time were brilliant. Almost always they looked perfectly acceptable. It's only when you're looking back at them 30, 40 years later they look ropey. It's just how forgiving the human eye is.
Oh yeah, I mean, imagine if you had a sports car in the 1990s or something like that, and you compared it to a sports car today, you'd be like, "This is terribly slow and old and crappy."
Yeah,
but at the time, it would have been like a.
But just on the visual front, I totally agree with you. The plasticity of the human expectation. I think I found some crew. Lovely line. The composition of it, absolutely, but it just looks like
there's elements of CG in it which are very much obviously CG. But there's so many lovely scenes like this one right here.
Oh, no two ways about it. It looks so pretty.
This
you know
entire
damn well that has been ripped off repeatedly by Games Workshop. That is very Games Workshop. And the helmet cams, oh yeah, so Aliens.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
looks,
couple of
yeah.
ropey bits of CGI, but they're certainly not the majority of.
No.
They didn't rely on CGI for this film, which is probably why it stands up so well.
Yeah,
They couldn't afford it.
Well, they just chucked a couple of extra bits into it, sort of give the impression of weightlessness and zero gravity.
Yeah, they mostly use it for zero gravity gags, which is understandable.
But the actual set dressing is fantastic.
Yeah, which is weird because. Okay. Not quite sure.
So whatever's on the other side does not wish for them to go.
I don't want to pass judgment, but I think making the main control room out of 90% fireworks was a bad plan.
So during that scene, Sean Pertwee obviously gets thrown off the chair whilst he's smoking. And apparently when he finished that suit in that scene, he's got shit, we're going to need to do this again. My fag went out.
Shark! I do not like this scene.
Charge through the meat grinder, yeah.
There's something weird to my eyes.
And the big spikes. I know he's kind of the comic relief in this, but
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. It's the casual smoking of it. You do see smoking in movies these days, but it's always a character point.
Mm.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just that's just.
Now I do love that scene where just all those pops turn into a downpour. Yeah.
There's something about an exploding frozen corpse that is just. "'Twas a dark and stormy night." We are fucked, sir. Paul?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, getting distracted. Yeah. They do. That's why I asked when 3D was around this time, because there's a lot of elements in there that could very easily have been intended for a 3D release.
I think it was more they were trying to play up the. This kind of sound. I know, obviously, it's going to sound a bit ridiculous, but I think they're trying to play up the realism aspect. Because by this point, everyone knew about zero G. Everyone knew about how you couldn't really generate gravity that easily. So they have it showing the natural environment as being zero G, and it meant we got the hand gag, the corpse gag, and the exploding frozen body gag. So that was solid bit of gag work. He looks E'd out of his face.
It's like 100% pupil.
Just absolutely egged out of his head. Oh man, just.
I don't know the answer to that one.
Possibly. I didn't know he was an addict at any point beyond like generalized LA consumption. It's complicated. It's artificial black hole. I love that. It's just, oh god, yeah, I made a black hole. It's mine. It's called George.
Isn't it great?
He's such a nerd. Everywhere. Well, it has worked. That's why it disappeared. I mean, if you did your maths really, really carefully, you could just the ability to go from one point to another in time would mean you can travel great distances.
Mm-hmm.
See, he's a very sensible guy.
Oh yeah. Nothing could possibly go wrong with the gigantic lethal machine with the black hole generator, like a black hole coming or anything.
No, to be honest, I don't think there's any stupid actions in this film. Quite often in these, someone does something stupid and then they get taken out for it. But most of the time in here, you can understand the decisions, if they're like being manipulated.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of hubris from the Doctor, but it's difficult to tell if that's manipulation or not.
Well, he's being drawn to his ship, isn't he?
No, I was referring more to the discounting what the technicians reported, and him being absolutely sure. So He knows it disappeared. He doesn't know why it disappeared, and he's now discounting anything that doesn't fit his own personal theories. So it's difficult to tell if that's hubris, manipulation, or deceit.
Potentially both.
Well, yeah, that's
just
the
not
pleasant
being able to
ambiguity of
figure
it.
out, because I know plenty of people who do like technical things, and they're like, "Oh, it's doing this weird and wonderful thing." Like, it shouldn't. Call his sister.
But it is worth,
Here we go. The imagery.
Mm-hmm.
The imagery.
Oh yeah. Well, throughout all of Hellraiser, they've had images of their past, their lives, etc., used in dreamscapes, so they don't know which is real and which is not.
Yeah, but it's not done. It's not normally done in such tormenting manner.
Tormenting. Seriously, Hellraiser is very tormenting.
Well, hit me with examples of what you described.
What of bits? Okay, so the guy who consistently sees people he knows die. I think that was the detective, wasn't it? Who kept having memories and stuff constantly being attacked on him.
That was things he'd done.
It was still his memories, and it was still being used.
That's
and this
one
is
movie.
what the ship's using. Memories.
Okay.
Just one. I still managed to cite one, dear.
I'm not saying you didn't. As I said, there are definitely some stylistic connections. I freely admitted that. I just don't think it's strong enough to suggest it's a Hellraiser movie. But that's the point. That's why we're having the discussion. That doesn't mean it wasn't influenced by, because it absolutely was. Don't you just hate it when you sign off on a message and it cuts straight into your ropey weekend porn video? Oh no! It's almost like the professor was full of shit. Arcane tech, no one understands. Maybe if he chanted a little bit. Oh man, that is so 2001. Wow.
Got some support for you, love.
Hi.
Would you describe that metal as gothic?
Are you going to say that the Hellraisers aren't necessarily gothic?
Well, at the moment, I'm more interested in
one of the what was it? I don't remember where it was, either Poland, Czechoslovakia, or one of them, but that was definitely a very gothic place.
Oh,
I'm
Serbia?
Well, they shot in there 2 or 3 times. I'm just loving the fact that at this stage, the idea that he could just go in with a screwdriver and fix the system. It's just so, you'd never get away with that now. People just go, no, you've got to.
This is my space.
See,
I've got my
chains. Yep, absolutely. Scarlet Tiger Chili. They definitely use chains.
I already said there were some chains. I've not said there weren't chains. I said there weren't enough chains.
How can there be? They weren't in the damn dimension yet.
The dimension of chaos.
Hell. It's called Hell. And what was the name of the films you've been watching? Hellraiser. Hell. And so many times in actual Hellraiser they've referred to, let me think now. Oh yeah, Hell.
Oh man, don't you just hate it when a fire breaks out near your black hole generator? Yes, that traditional Hellraiser motif of people beating themselves up for bad things they did in the past. Always there. One film that Vicky didn't think was that good. I love the fact that they actually just sit down and go, hey, we've all seen weird shit. Let's tell each other.
Yeah.
So many more movies would have so lower a body count if people just went, hey, I don't want to sound crazy, but weird shit. Oh, you're having weird shit happening as well. Oh, you, all of us. Okay. Yeah, definitely a sonic screwdriver situation.
Doctor's solution: get the scalpel.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't just fill him full of tranks, but that's me. I think there's tension between those two.
Just a bit.
So much tension. Paul? Yes. Yeah, there's definitely Resi Evil, which I'm pretty sure came out after, definitely nicked some of it.
Well, also the green tunnel compared to that laser room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is Paul Anderson, so
The green, did he do both of them?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, fair enough. You can't really you can't really give a guy shit for copying his own stuff.
No.
I said that green room, absolutely. That was this is someone who really knows their cinema, or at least is more than happy to reference stuff like, their classics. Because I'll happily put Alien and Aliens up against 2001. I can also remember at the time it came out, a lot of people comparing it to Jacob's Ladder.
I don't even know what that film is.
It's a relatively peculiar. I'm pretty sure it was Jacob's Ladder that came out beforehand. Macaulay Culkin's first movie. Yeah, it was 1990. Jacob's Ladder had quite a number of hallucinogenic sequences.
All right.
It's a surprisingly good movie, other than the fact that it doesn't work on any level once you know what the twist is. So is like everything fused?
Yes.
Yeah, we put 100 fuses in the wall. Why? Well, in case the wall, the circuit in the wall gets out of line. What does the circuit in the wall do? Nothing.
Explode.
Fires off the fuses. Calm. Remember, the ship might be possessed. It's all good. Which film?
Jacob's Ladder.
It's 1990 movie.
He's starting to become in sync with it.
Oh yeah. He is absolutely possessed by it.
The statute of limitations on spoilers.
I'm not saying sorry, and I didn't give away what the ending was. I just said that once you see the ending, it makes the rest of it not make sense. It's still a very good film. Oh, man. You got to say this about it. They definitely, because there's like, what, a 7-person crew?
Mm.
They definitely wanted them to have lots of space for extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh no. YouTube. Sorry. I love the reference to Metropolis. Yeah. Yeah.
From the other
Definitely,
place.
definitely sharing a certain Gothic architecture motif. It's almost like exposure to the deep warp without a suit is a bad thing. So he travels to the other place and that drives him insane. Again, another motif heavily taken from Warhammer 40,000. It was Art Deco. Yes, you're right. You're right. I got my styles wrong. This has to be the second best space station based horror film ever. The first one obviously being Jason X.
Oh, that's worrying that you said that.
Hey, Paul, how high did we rate that?
I did love that film.
Yeah.
That was a perfect 10th film.
Yeah. Oh no! Hang on. So he's turned off the gravity in that one single room.
It's an airlock. Don't know how the gravity works.
No, true. Oh! It's a baby! Oh, God.
What actually surprises me is that the airlock still had a lot of air in it.
Yeah. That is not a healthy way of traveling.
No,
that's not. That is absolutely not good for you. He is not a well boy.
Nope.
He is.
The configuration's starting to get to him.
Yeah, I love the fact you can just keep seeing the
It's
little
just
circles.
It's just a shame he hasn't got a box to open.
That he has got a portal to the warp to open.
Absolutely.
They really dig the. Oh God, my brain is broken. One side's the same as the other. Symmetry.
Yeah.
Oh God, you can tell it's been a long day at work.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. Doubt. Oh my god, this is such. So, the not knowing where it's gone has to be the most frightening part. The rest of it I'll happily believe, but it's the I've no idea where it goes. You kind of want to know where the thing you're about to throw into a portal goes. Oh no, he's about to get gribbly-eyed.
Yeah, poor Justin.
Aww. He's having a bad day.
I was going to say, didn't the second film have the blonde-haired girl tortured by images of her past of her mother?
Sorry, which?
Hellraiser 2.
Can't recall.
Sorry, say again. Did it have images of?
Yeah, she had memories constantly going through of her mother begging for the doctor to help her daughter.
Yes. That was not induced by the box, though. That was just her personal trauma.
Mm. It's just something that also runs through the series.
That's one instance. That's not running through the series. But as said, that's the thing. There's so much stuff in Hellraiser, and there's so many motifs thrown throughout all the different movies that a lot of it's difficult to count something fully out of Hellraiser because there's so much in it that you can point out and go, well, there's that one instance of. As said before, and will be said again, I totally get why people think it is Hellraiser. I just think it fits better into a different, into having ripped off something else more. Although, as we've seen, there's so much that gets ripped off. It's really a smorgasbord. So many good moments. Well, not the trip to do.
Yeah.
Go on. Not today, buddy. Ah, look, the personification of the ship has been the thing having done it.
Oh, look. They're going to tell you where the ship went.
He made an error in the translation because the Latin is so pigging awful.
And the Cenobites.
Possibly another dimension of a parallel kind. I also found out that I've also found out he wrote Alien vs Predator, so
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He must have really needed the money that day.
But you say that, but he released Alien versus Predator at the same time as he did Resident Evil.
They can't have come out at the same time.
Pretty sure.
Wow. So look. AVP was 2004. Resident Evil was 2002.
Yeah.
Apocalypse came out at the same time. Yeah. That was his writing credits. So it's difficult, just because he wrote it doesn't mean that his was the final version.
Mm-hmm.
The number of times it's just contractual obligation to include them. Oh, he also directed Alien versus Predator, and that's absolutely his fault. Salt. That's just when the party gets out of hand.
It looks like all of the crew are doing it to themselves, and there's not another entity there, but something.
Yes, it's almost like they went to an alternative dimension, which drove them insane and caused them to do horrible things to each other. Like that thing that it explicitly states in Warhammer 40,000 happens a lot.
I'm not being funny here, but those guys haven't actually gone to hell yet, and one of them's already acting a little bit.
Yes, that's because the chaos taint has spread through. But also, it's them doing it to each other rather than having it done to them by a Cenobite. The specific sequence we're referring to. I said there's a lot of elements of it that are from Hellraiser.
They can't have a Cenobite here for legal reasons.
No, they can't call it a Cenobite. Doesn't mean they can't have something similar to. That is so cool. It's almost like the ship's alive. Or possessed. Oh. See, and this is the bit where he's just so totally gone. Just racking him through.
Yep.
Raid the room, grab everything. Run away. Don't look back. No, don't look back. Oh, it's a wild ass hallucination. Run away.
Don't play with the box. It's a bad thing.
Through the meat grinder again.
Even at an angle, I hate that shot. I just can't. I don't know what it does. I'm normally fine with that kind of thing. It just, that one specific thing just fucks with my eyes so badly. This is a good example of what I'm talking about. See, that's not in Hellraiser. People get taken apart by Cenobites extensively, whereas in this, it's conning them almost. It's using their own guilt to get them to do things like not look where they're going on the walkways. There's not that direct attack element.
I don't wish to spoil the ending, but
You will do, because you will make the One True fan very upset.
I know. I won't spoil it for the One True fan, but I will kind of remark that is not her ending.
So, but you get what I mean about that being a very different approach to how it normally goes through in Hellraiser.
I don't know. The nightclub scene. The nightclub scene, they went in various different ways.
Hang on, you mean when the Cenobites attacked?
Yeah, there were various things, and they didn't always use their little gribbly things.
The Cenobites attack. That's what I'm saying, though. This is
new documentary series on BBC One when Cenobites
go bad. Also, this is using hallucination to basically trap and get people to fuck up rather than a direct. You know, if it was firing chains through people, great. But so far the situation has driven one guy mad, got one person to run off the edge of a cliff, and got a whole crew to do horrible things to each other. It's not had that Cenobite instigator or Cenobite substitute instigator. It's getting in people's heads, it's screwing them around, it's making them feel extensively guilt for decisions and actions they've taken, rather than the Hellraiser, which has got the focus on desires, and getting them to fuck themselves up. Oh man, could you imagine Cenobite Week on Discovery Channel?
I've got wonderful things to show you.
No, yeah, but like that's not him being attacked.
He's not doing that out of guilt.
He's doing that to him. He's literally feeling guilty about his wife committing suicide because he wasn't there, and now he's pulled his own eyes out.
That's not why he's pulled his own eyes out.
What? Are we watching a different film?
He didn't pull his eyes out because his wife committed suicide. In his image, she's doing it. He's actually doing it.
Right.
In his imagery, she's the one doing it.
Yes. As said, so it's basically fucked with his mind, as opposed to it going in at
but
it.
All the way through Hellraiser, people get their minds messed with.
Yes, but they also get directly attacked by the Cenobites.
One.
You're just not listening to the points I'm making, are you?
I'm not agreeing with some of the points you're making.
Oh my good lord. I'm not sure if he's more upset about the prospect of death or his ship getting blown up. But I did all that work, so he can't blow it up. I won't get any overtime. I'll have to do it again. No! Oh, I know that feeling. Where did I put my keys? Well, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, such a react.
Just that beautiful realization there was no time to do anything.
Oh, they're fucked. It's just such an absolute sense of helplessness in that moment.
Yeah, it's like, I've got 5 seconds to live, and it's like,
And
I can't run far enough.
This is Fishburne absolutely selling that. That special effects sequence is brilliant, but it is nothing without Fishburne. Have you seen Dark Star?
Don't know.
I think Claire is behind us because she's watching a different version.
Possibly.
Because Paul's got the really old DVD.
But no, you're right. That's absolutely not the correct way to do it. But
no.
There was a long period of not showing the correct way on movies for a good reason.
Yes. Plus, quite often, people who are suicidal are not of the soundest of minds. I have a curious feeling the Doctor's quite efficient at that kind of thing. Oh, shit.
Yep. Too late.
Let's get ready to rumble. Oh! Many servants of chaos are noted for gaining superhuman strength.
As someone who hasn't read, watched, or cared about 40k, all of your references are 100% meaningless to me.
Oh, now that is, oh, that is just so.
I wonder what.
No, that is absolutely Hellraiser. I have already said I freely accept there are a lot of bits in this which are ripping off Hellraiser. I am, however, making reference to the overall structure and the narrative elements of it, not just specific elements of the visuals. Because I think Hellraiser is more than a collection of visuals.
I think you're giving Hellraiser way too much fucking credit. This is more Hellraiser-y than a number of the Hellraisers I've watched.
Oh. I am not going to argue that point with you at all. Happily.
I think we've got to testify on that one.
Yes, fucking.
You watch this and see 40k. I watch this and I see Hellraiser.
Yes, that is the basic premise of the discussion that we had.
I think it's my wife's lack of exposure to 40k.
Yes, I
Don't
think
you
really
fucking dare.
need to get her indoctrinated.
I
Start
have
easy
such
on Rogue
plastic
Trader.
to show you.
Yeah, you've already bloody started on the
plastic.
daughter, you bastard.
Yes!
You leave my child alone.
She is into anime. She is into Warhammer 40,000. She will never have money for drugs or alcohol or food or detergent
or a life.
So this is like one of the colours that she picked to paint with. You cannot deny that as an awesome
colour.
Oh, that is definitely a colour. Oh man, I've got that tiling in my garage.
Yes, you do have great taste in colours.
Oh, that is the daughter, is it? Oh, fantastic.
The daughter.
Just a reminder.
That's why I told her to come take the DVD off me.
Yeah. Just a reminder that the no, the Godfather is also responsible for some of your presents. Ooh. Yeah, that line. Pure chaos. So he opened up he busted a hole into the warp, which is the dimension of chaos. And yeah. And he's referring to the ship as the thing. Yeah, and the ship killed the crew.
No, the crew killed themselves.
No, but I'm merely going off what he is saying, which you used earlier as evidence for what people saying that stuff you used as evidence
And
as to why
he's
they've gone to
opening the
hell.
gateway just like everybody opens the box. If it was an entity, they wouldn't need to go back.
Ooh. No, he just wants to go back to the warp.
It doesn't need to if it's an entity because it's already there.
Mm-hmm.
And he can
I
see
don't know. I think the
without
fact that he's
eyes,
blind
just like some of the
probably makes him think
Cenobites
of
without eyes can see as well.
He's just not having a good day, is he? Oh,
Yeah, I feel
nice
so sorry
usage
for
of
Goop.
decompression there. That is a nice bit of decompression. God. Chairs don't have much luck in this movie, do they?
No. I just love
My
the
apologies for
metal
not
plating
recognizing the goddaughter's online tag. Oh, that can take far more abuse than that.
Mm.
He bought that cheap stuff. That tiling is great. Yes, your day can actually get worse in this moment.
What about her?
Oh, God. Oh, just goes absolutely tits up. Oh, man. Lawrence Fishburne is having a really shit day. Oh, hello. He's not even doing what now. He's just like, oh yeah, of course. That's inevitable. Now the ship's about to blow up. Of course, whatever. Let's get some clubbing tools.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love that line. What else are you going to do in that situation other than ask that they don't brain you alive? worked for Dr. Weir. It worked for Ripley. It'll work now.
Just to make sure.
So many things that went into this. That's the other reason why I'm like, I can't see it just, as a Hellraiser in space. It's because there's so many other things that have gone into it that is influenced. Oh man, that looks so good. Oh yeah, the ship's bleeding. Almost like the ship was an entity.
The ship is not bleeding.
What's that? Vicky?
That is not the ship's blood. And once again, that is just another scare tactic.
Oh, a scare. You are agreeing they use scare tactics.
Are you saying Cenobites don't use scare tactics?
I'm saying Cenobites normally use spiky things and kill people
not
directly.
All the time. No, they don't.
How many kills did?
So many times have they actually gone, am I in a dream? Am I not in a dream? I don't know what's going on. Is this real? Is this not real? And sometimes it takes a very long time, like when the Cenobites are sitting like the Muppets.
Oh, look at all that not blood on her face.
On the other side, just listening.
That absolutely isn't the ship's blood. No, literally, that is...
That's one way of getting him where he needs to go.
Hey! Well, you've got at least a couple of minutes of film left.
Well, we look forward to hearing that story later.
Well, shit. Ow, that's going to hurt in the morning. Oh, look. At all that not blood.
That's the
that
coolant.
red not blood.
It is coolant. What does that look like?
Looks a bit like a Cenobite. Oh, the ship brought him back. She won't let anyone
because
leave.
In the hell dimension, nothing fucking dies. They always call shit she. To go back to hell. Hell is just a word.
But I can't use the evidence of him describing it as a realm of pure chaos to argue my point. So,
well, this is my point. Wow, those images look so familiar.
Are his descriptions admissible as evidence or not admissible as evidence? Which is it?
I don't know 40K, so I can't comment.
No, I'm not asking you
if we have been watching non-stop Hellraiser.
I'm not asking you if you know 40K. I'm asking you, are his words admissible as evidence or not? Yes, it is.
In what regard?
It is about 2 years before he was.
Yes. In what regard of you're rejecting me saying it's a
you're trying to manipulate different adjectives to try and get.
But so are you.
He's mentioned hell and chaos. They generally go hand in hand. But
you're arguing that it's Hellraiser because he keeps on referring it to a realm of to a hell. I'm saying
because there's so much energy, and they're going through a gateway to the
place. What is the rule? Is his description, is him describing stuff evidence or not?
I'm sorry, actually not listening. I'm watching this bit.
shut down that conversation.
Yeah, very, very skillful there, Vicky.
This bit's too good, shut up.
Yeah.
I can see for miles and miles and miles. Boom, baby!
Because he's gone a little bit Cenobite, I think is our phrase of the night.
Yes, a little bit Cenobite, although obviously not a Cenobite because that would be copyright. Cenochibi. I think Cenochibi would be an acceptable phrase.
No, I think there's already a Cenochompy in one of the other films.
That's Butterball.
Yeah.
He's very conscious about his weight.
No, I was thinking about the one with the chattering chicken.
Boom! And the ship gets dragged into hell. Whereas previously, it's normally the box.
The box allows them to come through.
Yeah. No, I freely accept you're not going to listen to a word of my argument.
No, I'm just saying the book. But the thing is, you're fixed on it being one thing. And I don't think you're open to the idea that this could be another interpretation of Hellraiser. So you're quite close-minded too, even though you've admitted the similarities.
Uh-huh.
Appreciating the Pokemon evolution, Jane.
As opposed to your position, which is freely accepting the possibility.
I can't comment on some of the things that you're referring to because I don't know that genre.
You're dismissing
but all
them
I'm
as wrong.
saying is, I'm not admitting them as wrong, but I'm saying that the reason that this doesn't go one step further is probably because of copyright more than anything else.
Oh, almost certainly. Which is why he doesn't mention the Imperium or the Emperor.
Seriously, dude.
That's such a bad design. Why did they decide to have the pods open directly onto the floor?
I mean, you would have thought you would have wanted to just drain them straight down.
Yeah, that would have been the sensible plan.
I don't know, is it the worst shower scene? Does Psycho count as being worse?
Unfortunately.
Or are they?
Well, they're not, because it was the ship that was possessed rather than just the drive. Anyway, oh man, this is so fucking 97. Oh,
I love the fact that, like,
it's
the
just
classical music at the start of it, and then you just get into this. Yeah,
you absolutely know when this was made.
Yeah.
It's like that grindy sports metal you get in the 2K movies. This is just.
Sorry, I just want to listen to the music for a bit now.
Yeah, let's be honest though, as an end track, this is probably the best of the series we've seen so far.
Yes.
Because all the other ones have ended on like that really gothic, ooh, you just watched a spooky thing. Whereas this is just like, hey, go play on your PS1. Yay. It has got big PS1 energy on that end tune. Really?
You've challenged me because the ship seems alive, and you're absolutely right. However, in Hellraiser 2, the figure that comes down and the whole maze and the whole area is also very much alive and works autonomously without the use of a Cenobite being around it. So it's quite feasible that would happen. That would be the
the Leviathan, which was that massive box at the top in that
That would be the
configuration
god.
that came down.
That
Well,
would be their
no,
god.
that would be the whole area.
No,
Everything in there was
the labyrinth
basically
was
working
the
on its
area.
own.
The
But
labyrinth,
the labyrinth
was
was
the
also
area.
working on its own.
The thing at the end that came down was called Leviathan, and that is depicted as their god. That is
But
what happens in 2.
But the labyrinth moved autonomously. So does the box on occasion on its own. It moves autonomously because it's trying to predict what the people are trying to do. Hence why the ship does similar. I'm not suggesting that it's doubly exactly the same, but I'm suggesting that it can be considered as part of that universe. The way things move, the way
I have already said
kind of
there are a lot of connections. They absolutely ripped off huge chunks from this, along with Aliens, 2001. I'm trying to think. There's a couple of other movies. There's a bunch of haunted house movies that they have absolutely nicked off. This film, I would say one of the biggest things about this film, which I absolutely love, is that you can see so many other films' fingerprints in it. It's very easy to pick up and run with similarities, because it's the director had an eclectic vision, I think, is the nicest way I can put it. So much of it is just, I mean, like that bit inside the machine, in the control panel, and that is just, as I said, pure Kubrick. Eclectic fanfic. Yeah. And as I said at the start, I do agree that there are a number of Hellraiser elements in it. I just don't think there's sufficient to say it is part of the Hellraiser world. There are some touch points, but I think equally, I would say there are stronger touch points to the Warhammer 40,000.
So you both
Because
have
apart
to
from
say what you think. Now is the time for the audience to say what they think.
Yes.
So, Andy, do you want to do your bit?
My bit. Now's your opportunity to tell us your thoughts after hearing the different debate and watching the film. Do you agree with me that Hellraiser is... I did not write this.
No, you did not.
Do you agree with me that Hellraiser is not a part of the Hellraiser universe?
I'm sure it says Event Horizon's not part of the
Sorry,
Hellraiser.
Event Horizon. Hellraiser is mostly part of the Hellraiser universe.
Generally.
Not all of them. Not all of them. There's a couple which we can all agree are pretty much just not Hellraiser. Right, do you agree with me, or
part of the universe?
I'm allowed gags, or
Freudian
take his
slips,
line,
or I believe that it should be considered as part of the universe.
Oh,
right then. So we got the opportunity for you, the audience, to vote on this one.
We've got a not Hellraiser.
So yes,
Okay.
Tiger Chili is coming in with a not Hellraiser to start off with.
Okay, fair.
And let me see if I can get my things working. So...
Oh my God, he's got
there we
buttons
go.
for it. Your daughter has voted Hellraiser because she wants Christmas presents. Yes, it does.
Yes, 12 minutes enables you to vote, because otherwise we're likely to go into a tie.
Never going to end.
Do you two want to vote? Have either of you changed your mind after watching the film and hearing the other argument?
No, not really.
Not really, because I've always maintained there's a lot of Hellraiser in it.
I get that there is not a huge, because there couldn't because of copyright, so they had to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, so that's Laura voting no.
Okay.
I totally get what you mean about the copyright thing, but I would suggest there was ways they could have done it that would have made it more Hellraiser. One of the biggest examples is Weir being more of a protagonist rather than an acolyte. His role within that story is as guide, is as worshipper. It's not as lead instigator. Arguably, the ship does more to actually affect the outcome than he does. yes, he's there at the end of the he is there in the fake out ending, but the full fake out ending is the ship's door closing. But yeah, I just think if they wanted to do a Hellraiser ripoff, they could have gone harder without getting into trouble. Yeah.
Okie dokie. Well, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
There we go.
But here's the big question, though. Here's the big question. Paul, can you bring up the Hall of Hellraisers?
Oh, right. Now you're going to ask me to do that, yeah.
I asked you to do that before. What? I'm 5,000 wins!
There's your winner.
Where on
No,
the
there's no
stack?
point. No, there's no point. If it's not part of Hellraiser, I'm not doing it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yep, yeah. It sits outside the hall.
It sits outside the hall. But
I think it's a fucking insult that half of those films that we've watched or had to suffer through actually stay on the Hellraiser Hall of Fame, whereas that doesn't.
I would be surprised if it was not.
All we need is some kind of black hole to suck them into.
Oh God, I think if it was me doing it, I'd be somewhere between the shoulder and the nipple, frankly. With that, that is, as a film, it is a solid bit of awesome.
I love it as a film. I think it's an absolutely brilliant film. Yes, Event Horizon is definitely one of my favourites. I remember going to see it in cinema, and there were lots of things that it did for the time which hadn't been done before. And one of the things it does very well is it builds up to that moment of suspense and then doesn't deliver. And it allows you to sort of relax, because quite often, you build up to the tension point and then you get the jump scare, which you knew was coming, but you built up towards it. Whereas Event Horizon doesn't. It builds up to the jump scare and then doesn't deliver. So you go, then it downs. And it gets you that way. And I remember quite clearly, because we were at the cinema watching it, and there was a whole line of us, and down the end of the line was a lady who'd gone, hasn't happened. Oh, I'm just going to get something out of my handbag. So she leant forward to get something out of her handbag. Then the jump scare comes, and she flings herself back in the seat up to full uprightness. And of course, that's all in our peripheral vision. Yeah. So all of us at the cinema are like, "What's going on to the side of us?"
The other thing I'd say is the pacing of it is very action film.
Yep.
Because it is the last 30 minutes are, or maybe 25-20. It's just this unending barrage of stuff. Whereas the horror movie, I mean, this is where it definitely comes through as as a bit more of a sci-fi than as a horror. The horror movie would be all about the slow, steady build up to the final confrontation, the big flouncy conversation before the denouement would be the thing. Where, like you said, Fishburne just sitting there, just like, of course, this, by the third or fourth thing, just going absolutely to tits. Yep. He's just not reacting, and it's not because he's not a good actor. It's because he's just like, no, we just got to keep on going through this shit. And also, the very human reactions, like you said, no one does anything stupid. But it's also that there's just the really sensible things, like the guy coming out of the airlock. Just go, don't hit me. Yes. He knows everything's going wrong, and he's just like, I'm going to get my head kicked in, and I know that would be bad. It just picks up on stuff like that. And that cast, oh my God.
It was a sterling cast, wasn't it? Yeah.
I don't think there's other than the kid, the kid was okay. I think everyone else was great.
Yeah, I think it was absolutely brilliant cast. And they picked people from a lot of different sort of film genres as well, and brought them together in a very nice way. So I think that works absolutely brilliantly. So, but question for us, did it deserve to be a box office flop?
Vicky? It got sunk by Titanic.
Yeah.
We all know it.
Do you want to tell us the story of this one, love?
What, Titanic got moved?
Yep.
And it released at the same time, and it sunk.
Yeah.
So that's why it didn't get anywhere, pretty much, unfortunately.
I think Titanic was supposed to be a summer movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then it got pushed to later in the year. And yeah, so it ended up being at the same release slot as Event Horizon. And yeah, it's a harsh competition indeed. Going up against Titanic, and lots of people went over to see that one.
I can also remember at the time people getting, as I said earlier, people getting really confused about the fact that it was a horror and a sci-fi. And there were people just like, so is it a horror or is it a sci-fi? They couldn't get the idea of it being both at the same time. It was just this absolutely alien concept. And
well, that shouldn't have been, because Alien as a concept had delivered on that about 20 years earlier.
No, but Alien. Oh, no. Alien. Yeah,
It's sci-fi and horror.
Oh no, I know Alien is sci-fi and horror, but the way by that point Alien was seen as a sci-fi film. It wasn't being discussed much as being both at the time. I mean, obviously, people who are in the horror community thought it was, but it was just not discussed in those ways. It was a sci-fi. Because we're still in the era where people didn't talk about horror movies because horror movies were disreputable things that only hoodlums watched, which is probably why I went and saw it with so many people and we all just went, my God, this is great. But no, I did it deserve to be a box office flop? I mean, so many things. You've got the release window, like you said, you've got the promotional style, you've got the audience expectations, you've got the trailer, you've got the ad buy. There's so many different things that go into making a film a success. I mean, even as we said, just like the music at the end being very dissonant to what had done before. I'm like, that's I obviously I think it should have shat money like a greased goose, but it did what it did. It's very difficult to say if something. I mean, to compare it to the Marvels. People are talking about how the Marvels was a flop, which it is. It's made like 20% on its 100 the budget plus about 20% when it needs to be twice the budget. But it had the misfortune of coming out, having the actors strike. So the actresses couldn't go and do the promo and build up the hype and build up the story. Because trailers no longer cut it. It's got to be, someone going out and do something. So you get the news snippet and the little video turning of them going out and pressing flesh as part of the mix. So, did Marvels deserve to bomb? No, but it just had real bad fortune. So this is why I'm not huge. Like, deserve is such a difficult thing to say. I think it should have done Great Guns because that is a solid film.
I mean, I love it. I've watched that many times over the years, and I still enjoy it to this day.
I think if it had come out 2 or 3 years later, it would have done really well. I just think it was a bit ahead of its time. That's its problem. But it kicked open the doors for other similar works. But I mean, that was also the time that around the time that Starship Troopers came out. And that didn't find its audience for 10 or 15 years. So, people were totally confused about the fact that it was a parody. So, it's messy. Anyway,
we have now completed this watch all of series, struggling so much through all of the Hellraiser films over the last 7 months, and that's been a bit of a slog.
That's been a bit of a slog for logistical reasons. I mean, so this now becomes the inevitable question. I mean, what does Vicky think of the Hellraiser series as a series?
Half of it's good, half of it's shit.
Yeah.
There were so many films that really just felt like something completely different with Hellraiser tacked onto it, and it was.
It's the least consistent series we've watched, and Halloween restarted. Halloween's got 3 fucking timelines.
Yeah.
No, 4 timelines, and Hellraiser is less consistent than Halloween.
Vicky said this before. It's like you get a little bit of mythos building in Hellraiser, and then it goes and does something completely off the wall and very different.
And then the next film contradicts that.
Yeah,
It doesn't go out of its way, but it does something that contradicts that mythos.
When we were watching the start of the series, I sort of saw 1 and 2, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, this is quite interesting because you've got almost a political power play between the Cenobites, and I wonder how they're going to explore that." And it's like, no, forget about it, move on. And it's like,
I'd say up to 4, it has a continuity, it has a growing story, and it has a growing meta story, and then it shits it all away.
Yeah. And there are just so many of those random films pulled in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rebranded.
Oh, productionally mishandled.
Yeah.
So would we be confident in placing it like 3rd in the ranking of series?
So 3rd out of 3 we've seen so far, yeah.
Yeah. I would still be happy as franchises to keep Friday the 13th at number 1, because that
was fun.
show, well, not just that, the consistency. This absolutely, Friday the 13th should have been this, if you think about it, because they were constantly getting new writers in, they were constantly getting new producers in, it was constantly just shitting stuff out to make money and get out there. Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us.
See you later.
See you later. Take care. Have a good
Thank
one.
you for staying with us. We'll see you for the next one. But say with Friday, Friday the 13th should have been Hellraiser, and Hellraiser should have been Friday the 13th, but they absolutely fucked it. Anyway, you can find more Paul and Andrew Watchalong's at Trash or Treasure blog, or search for the Super Fortress Hardcore Genki Hall of Awesome, because coming up this Christmas season, we have the Magic Christmas Tree on the 8th of December, 13 Sleighs Till Xmas on the 14th of December, Santa Claus versus the Devil, 21st of December, and Amityville Christmas Vacation, 28th of December. And also, because I was only able to find a copy of it after I put together the Christmas list, we got 2 other Christmas movies happening in January, because Christmas never ends. So
someone's got distracted by the dog turning up and being
perfectly
extra cute with big
acceptable.
yawns. So thank you for watching, Paul
Thank
and
you
Andrew
so
and
much.
Vicky. Watch all of
all of
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. Bye.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
everybody. Bye
Say
bye.
goodbye, Loki. Say goodbye.